You thought I was bluffing, where you at? I came here for vengeance, watch your back. No need to defend, I'm on attack. Sorry they can't reply, but I guarantee they had a blast. Pop, 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 I be on the next to only ya. I am fresh to death, just call the coroner. I'm a native champ.
This is the brand new DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It's a pocket-sized camera that's built for everyday use, whether you're gonna be capturing your next vlog or your next big vacation. There's so much to talk about when it comes to this camera, from its 4K 120 FPS capable camera to its super steady footage thanks to the fact that it's on a gimbal to its 2-inch touchscreen that makes capturing and reviewing your footage a breeze. So let's just dive right into it and start with the build quality and design. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is, as the name suggests, pocket size, which means it's super easy to take with you wherever you go. And they do say that the best camera is the one that you have with you. One of my favorite design features about this camera is actually the 2-inch rotatable touchscreen. It's large, it's bright, and it makes filming yourself and others a breeze. On top of that, you'll have access to all of the information, settings, and menus right at your fingertips. You can check your battery status, switch between photos and videos, turn on different intelligent shooting modes, change your exposure or color settings, choose your resolution and frame rates, and the rest of the camera's settings. Battery life on the Pocket 3 is also really good. At 4K 60 frames per second, you can get about 116 minutes of recording. And at 1080p 24 frames per second, you can get about 166 minutes of recording. And since it supports power delivery fast charging, you can charge the Pocket 3 up to 80% in just under 16 minutes, or up to 100% in 32 minutes. And I love how easy it is to turn on and off this camera. All you have to do is flip open the screen to turn it on, which is super satisfying. It's like the world's best fidget toy. But they've also added their automated axis lock. So when you do go ahead and close your screen and it powers down, it automatically folds up the gimbal so it's ready to go to travel. But let's talk about the real show-stopping feature of the Pocket 3, the camera. DJI has now added a 1-inch CMOS sensor into this tiny little camera. And what that means is it's able to gather more light. So that's gonna mean you're gonna get better looking footage in low light situations, but more importantly, you're gonna get more dynamic range in high contrast scenarios like this. This way, you're not gonna have blown out highlights and you're gonna still retain details in the shadows. Oftentimes when it comes to testing smaller cameras, I always rave about the types of shots I can get, how you can fit them into interesting looking perspectives and angles, but I'm never in love with how the footage actually looks. That is until the Pocket 3. The footage I get out of this camera is actually something that I really enjoy looking at and color grading when I put it on the computer. And that's largely thanks to the fact that the Pocket 3 is able to shoot in 10-bit D-Log-M. While the standard colors you get out of the camera look great, I'm always one for getting maximum latitude possible out of my camera and then dialing in the colors in post, and man, does it look great. Not only that, but the Pocket 3 can also shoot that sweet, sweet slow motion. In order to access this, you'll want to go into the video shooting modes and switch it over to slow motion video. But once you do, you can shoot in 4K 120 frames per second for that high resolution slow motion, or you can also shoot in 1080p 240 frames per second for that super slow motion shot. But the party doesn't stop there. Thanks to that 1-inch CMOS sensor that's in the Pocket 3, you're also able to get this incredible looking low light image. Now, usually with tiny pocket cameras, they have not only smaller sensors, but they also have to do digital image stabilization, which just really doesn't work in low light scenarios. But since this camera is on a physical gimbal, it doesn't have to do any digital stabilization. That means you're left with sharp, low noise footage that just looks really good. And here's something that's fun for you guys. The lens that's built onto the Pocket 3 is a 20mm f2.0 equivalent. And 20mm is really just the right focal length when it comes to vlogging, giving you proper framing even when you're holding the camera. But on top of that, the f2.0 aperture means that not only are you gonna get more light for low light situations, but you're also able to get a shallower depth of field, or that blurry background, which will add a level of production quality to your vlogs or travel films, something that you wouldn't really get out of normal tiny cameras or your phone camera. And here's the cool bit. The Pocket 3 also has a brand new updated autofocus system. It's now using phase detect autofocus, the same type of autofocus that you get out of mirrorless cameras. What that means at the end of the day is we're gonna have better autofocus that's stickier to stick onto subjects, but also better at transitioning between subjects. So for example, I currently have the product showcase mode turned on, and you can see how it changes focus from myself to a phone in front of the camera. Pretty neat. All right, so next let's talk about the gimbal on the Pocket 3. Well, first of all, it makes filming yourself so much easier, especially when you pair it with the new Smart Active Track feature. All you have to do is double tap on yourself or your subject on the screen, and then it's gonna put a green box around them, and now it's gonna go ahead and automatically keep your subject in the center of the screen. This makes things like walking and talking and vlogging so much easier because now you don't have to be constantly staring at the screen to see how your composition looks, whether or not you're centered. Instead, you can kind of just focus on talking about what you wanted to talk about. And when you're in busy areas, you can focus on just kind of navigating and staying out of people's ways instead of having to do like 5 things all at once. But it also works great when you want to put the Pocket 3 onto a tripod, but still keep a little bit of movement so that you don't have a completely stationary shot. This way, it kind of looks like you have a camera operator behind the camera, panning and tracking to keep you in frame, and just adds a little bit of more dynamic movement into an otherwise completely normal shot. Most importantly though, it is a reliable gimbal that you can trust to capture those wide establishing shots and those follow shots on your trips so that you can cut them together later for a professional looking edit. So the next question you might have is, how does the audio sound coming out of the Pocket 3? Well, right now you're listening to the 3 capsule microphone that's built in to the Pocket 3. It's nothing that's out of this world, but the audio is clear and crisp and lets you get the shot that you need. But if you buy the Creator Combo version of the Pocket 3, you're also gonna get the DJI Mic 2 transmitter, which you can pair via Bluetooth by just turning it on. As you guys know, I've been absolutely loving these wireless microphones from all the different companies, and it's just super simple to use. I just turned it on and it went ahead and automatically paired with the camera via Bluetooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mount this thing using the magnetic mount under my shirt, and I'm good to go. Now I have crystal clear audio regardless of how far away I am from the camera. All right. Let's talk about some of the accessories that you can get with the Osmo Pocket 3. Starting off with my favorite one. So like I said earlier, the lens that comes built onto this camera is a 20mm f2.0 focal length, which is perfect for vlogging because it's just wide enough to get this field of view. But what if you want to go wider? Well, maybe you want to go wider because you want to shoot a wider vista because you need to capture more of the landscape, or maybe you're in a smaller interior space and the shot would just look much better with more in the frame. Well, then you would just go ahead and throw on this magnetic lens attachment right there, and boom, you've got yourself 25% more field of view, turning your 20mm lens into something closer to a 15mm lens. Another really neat magnetic filter that DJI is selling for their Pocket 3s is their black mist filter. Now, if you've been watching my reviews lately on filters, you know I love these types of filters. When you put them on, it completely blooms out the highlights and gives you this soft, dreamy look that completely changes the vibe of the shot. On top of that, it also has this effect of kind of softening everything up in the image, making your skin look a little bit softer. So if you're waking up that morning and you're feeling like you're looking a little old, this will help with that. And then we've got an expansion handle that you can just click into the bottom of the Osmo Pocket 3. The main feature here is that it's going to extend the grip to make holding it a lot easier for vlogging and walking shots. But on top of that, at the bottom, there's a 1/4-20 thread so that you can attach it to other mounts or tripods, or where'd I put it? I'll be right back. This mini tripod feet so that you can go ahead and place your Pocket 3 down on any surfaces like a table. And lastly, this one's one of my favorites. So this basically looks just like the extension grip, except it's a little bit taller. Well, it's not just an extension grip with 1/4-20 threads on the bottom of it as well, but it's a built-in 950 milliamp hour external battery. So when you plug this into the Pocket 3, you get to add an additional 62% of runtime to the already pretty capable Pocket 3's battery life. And on top of that, there is a USB-C in port here that can be used for charging the battery handle itself or the camera itself, but it can also be used as a USB interface for any wired microphones or headsets. And lastly, let's talk about the mobile companion app that comes with the Pocket 3, the MIMO app. The only time you have to use this app if you're not a big mobile app person is when you initially set up the camera. That's when you have to go in and register your camera in the app. But outside of that, if you don't like using mobile apps, then you don't have to be in here at all. But if you do like using mobile apps, this app is super useful for doing things like live previewing and remotely controlling your camera, updating the firmware for your camera and your microphone, as well as being able to access and download your photos and videos straight from the camera to your phone. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 comes in 2 kits. The standard kit, which comes with the camera, protective cover, and handle with the quarter 20 threads for $519. Or you can get the creator combo, which comes with all of that, plus the DJI Mic 2 transmitter, battery handle, mini tripod, carrying bag, and wide-angle lens attachment for $669. Overall, when it comes to small form factor cameras, I usually have a few reservations. Most of the times, it's the image quality. But thanks to this upgraded 1-inch camera sensor, plus 4K 120 frames per second capability, and 10-bit D-Log-M color information, I don't have that reservation, letting me get incredible looking shots in both well-lit and low-light situations. Put that on top of a gimbal that's already built in, and the fact that it packs away super small and can just fit in a jacket pocket or a hoodie pocket or just in my literal pockets, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, this is a great camera for anybody. As a real world example, this past weekend, we just went to my friend's wedding. And while I was in the wedding party as a groomsman, I still wanted to capture a fun 60-second Instagram reel for them to just have and enjoy, and having something like the Pocket 3 with me all day made it super easy and pretty effortless. If you're interested in checking out the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, links will be in the description down below. Thanks again to DJI for sending me out this camera to review. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to watch another video, here's one that YouTube thought you would really enjoy. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.